Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head up to Gothenburg once again, or Göteborg as you'd say in Swedish, and as I've told you many a time, Gothenburg is the craft beer city when it comes to Sweden. There's always some really awesome stuff going on up there. So for this one we're going to return to Vega Bryggeri after a gap of what must be about 18 months, 2 years, something like that, but we're going to review the GBG Beer Week 2019, and this one is supposed to be really quite nice actually. So this one is called Grapecious IPA. It comes in at 6% ABV, and I've seen quite a few people saying that this is very nice on the different Swedish craft beer groups that I'm a member of on Facebook. But I've only had one beer from Vega Bryggeri, but you know, there's so many craft breweries up in Gothenburg these days, it's actually quite hard to keep track of exactly what's going on up there. But these guys have done it this year. Last year I believe it was Dugas Bryggeri, the year before that it was Bierbibliotek, and the year before that of course it was the Stigbergets GBG Beer Week, which of course, you know, shot to fame almost instantaneously. But yeah, it should be really interesting, this one. I've heard it's very good, and as always I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Vega Bryggeri before. Hopefully I can add some more in the fairly near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlists of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about the Vega Bryggeri then. So Vega Bryggeri was founded back in 2012 by Claes Ljunggren and Thomas Kolberg, and it's based in Hisingen, which is just a little bit to the north of the main part of Gothenburg. Hisingen is kind of like it seems to be a little bit of a kind of port industrial area, but the Volvo museum's up there, and I know that because I went there with my dad. But they chose this particular location because of how central it was to the main part of Gothenburg, and it allowed them access to 3 of the bigger Systembolaget stores there. But Claes and Thomas had been homebrewers for a very long period of time, along with another friend called Henke, and they decided to turn professional after seeing how popular craft beer was becoming in Sweden. But apparently getting to a workable stage took them about 4 years. I think it was actually it must have been about 2017 or 2016 that I first encountered these guys, and that was when they were only just starting to get their beers out there a little bit more throughout the rest of Sweden. But they're now continuing to grow steadily, and they're wanting to expand even further than that, and they've been gradually introducing more and more beers into their range, and they've got a whole host of different styles. You get blonde ales, I've seen a few pilsners and lagers and things in there, some stouts, porters, and they've got all the different IPAs, and I think there's even a couple of sour beers in there now as well. So they really are starting to get very experimental with the different styles of beer that they do, and they seem to be fairly well regarded now up in Gothenburg. And the people in Gothenburg are quite hard to please when it comes to craft beer, of course. But yeah, another one of the numerous Gothenburg breweries. There must be about 30 or so breweries in the city of Gothenburg itself. There's about 300 or 400 now throughout the whole of Sweden. But Vega, of course, chosen this year to do the GBG Beer Week thing. A little bit about GBG Beer Week. There's basically a beer week in each of the main cities in Sweden. You know, you've got Stockholm, Gothenburg, and Malmö, but of course the whole craft beer scene really seems to be almost centred on Gothenburg, if you like. It really is a world-class beer city these days. But yeah, they were chosen this year to do the GBG Beer Week beer. There's always a beer released every year for this, but basically they've got, you know, conferences, events at the bars that you can go to and things like that. I do need to go up and check that out at some point actually. It'd be awesome to get a bit more involved in the beer industry in Sweden rather than just being a kind of outside fan, if you like. But yeah, it's something that if you get the chance to go to some of the GBG Beer Week events, then it's something that I would recommend you check out. But yeah, let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself then. If you want to learn a little bit more about Vega Bryggeri, of course you can follow them on Facebook and Instagram. That will keep you up to date with all the latest goings on at the brewery, and of course you can check out their brewery website and things like that too. But yeah, let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself then, so we can get rid of the brewery notes. But yeah, this one, as I said, comes in at 6% ABV. It's I don't know if I think it, from the photos I've seen of it, it looked like it was more of a New England style IPA, this one, rather than a West Coast IPA, but I'm sure we'll find out when we open it up and when we taste it. But really nicely presented, this one. The artwork is a little bit different from the artwork that you'd normally find on the Vega beers, but yeah, 6% IPA. You can see Vega on the top of the bottle cap there. I do quite like this actually, the hot air hop flowers. I think that's pretty cool. I don't know if they have actually added grapes to this or if they'll just be using Nelson Sauvin and things like that, but I'm sure we'll find out when we open this beer up. But nicely presented, 6% IPA. Without further ado, let's get it out and we will get on with the tasting then. Nice little bit of carbon dioxide on the opening, and we'll get it out into the glass. And I'll tell you straight away, when you open this, you do smell some nice grapey flavours, but when it's called Goodness Grapecious, you know, I think that is to be expected. But I'll be very curious to know if they're using like Hallertau Blanc or whether they're using a little bit of Nelson Sauvin or something like that in this beer. You do get a little bit of a grapey quality from the Enigma hop as well, right enough, which is another Australian one. But yeah, as you can see, nice pale golden straw colour, this one. There's a solid finger, and it was a bit more than that actually, a solid finger and a half of a frothy white head on this one. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and a few little ones just heading towards the bottom of that head there. But you know, overall, it does look pretty nice. When I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see this is a pretty damn hazy beer actually. I really like how this one looks. You know, I always find out when you get a nice bright beer, it almost looks a little bit more like a wit beer, or something like that. There is one little bit of sedimentation just floating around in the bottom of that, but overall it looks pretty nice and nothing too surprising when you consider that this one is an IPA. So it looks more like a New England IPA, but very nice looking beer. So let's take a closer look at the aroma and just see how we get on with this one. Ooh, now that smells really nice actually. It's a very kind of clean aroma, this one. You can definitely pick out there are some sort of white green grapey notes in there. I really do wonder whether they've when you go more closely into it though, you get more oily fruity notes out of it, you know, like some kind of hoppy oily fruits out of it, which are more tropical. But I think they might have just added grapes to this one, to be honest with you. They might, you know, there might be some Hallertau Blanc or some Nelson Sauvin in there. I don't think it's Nelson Sauvin, I think it's more likely to be Hallertau Blanc that they've added in there, because it doesn't quite have the really distinct grapey aromas. Like if you've been drinking craft beer a long time and doing taste and stuff, you get an instinct for hops, and I don't think there's Nelson Sauvin in here. I might be talking absolute rubbish. The guys at Vega Bryggeri might be laughing at me right enough for saying that, but I don't think there's Nelson Sauvin in there. I think they've added grapes to this beer. There could be a little bit of a Hallertau Blanc in there, and the reason I think that is because of the way some of the green elements of the hops are. This beer does have a little bit of a kind of underlying German noble hop character to it, and obviously the Hallertau Blanc isn't a German noble hop, it's a higher alpha acid one, but at the same time it does retain the similar grassy and slightly floral characteristics, and you can pick that up with this one. I do like how the aroma in this beer is going together. It's really nice. Yeah, but definitely you've got some nice tropical fruity notes in there. It's a little bit pineapple-y, a little bit kind of mango-y, something like that. Maybe even a little touch passion fruity, I don't know. Could there be a little bit of Galaxy or Simcoe in here? It does have a little bit of that. I think there is a little bit of Citra, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's I think it might be Galaxy actually, because there is a little bit of pineapple coming out of this one. So you've got passion fruits, pineapples, a little bit of mango I think as well. I think there's maybe Galaxy and Citra in this, and there could be a little bit of Hallertau Blanc or something like that. Yeah, I don't think it's Nelson Sauvin. It just doesn't have the kind of distinctive things that I would expect from Nelson Sauvin. Yeah, I really like how this one is going together. It's got a really nice kind of juicy, fruity aroma to it. On the green side of the hops, you've got a little bit of a floral aromaticity. You've got a nice little bit of a grassy note to it as well, which is nice. And underneath, you've just got a nice, fairly smooth malt base. I mean, there's a teeny bit of an almost oaty type note. I think it said in the bottle, though, they hadn't added oats to this one. But it does have a little touch of that almost oaty creaminess. Definitely some wheaty, white bready notes to the beer. and I think there's a little touch of a slightly biscuity sweetness to this one as well. But you know, overall, it's a really nice smelling beer, this one. I like how everything goes together in it. So the aroma is very promising. I've heard people have said it's very good. I'm quite excited to try this one then. So this one is the GBG Beer Week of 2019. Goodness Grapecious from Vega Bryggeri in Hisingen, just a little bit to the north of Gothenburg. Let's get stuck in. Slange, skål. Ooh. That is pretty good, I have to say. Straight away, I'm just going to say thumbs up to Vega Bryggeri for this one. They've really done a nice job of that. I can see exactly why people are quite are kind of raving about this beer a little bit. This is really, really nice. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, this one, how do you even describe this? This is just a really nice, interesting mix of different flavours. I mean, I really like how everything's going together with this beer. So let's try and break this down a little bit. In the middle of your palate, you've got a nice, smooth, white bready quality there. It just blankets the middle of your palate. It's a nice, smooth, kind of wheaty character. On top of that, you get a nice little bit of a biscuity sweetness in there. It definitely, there's no oatiness in this one. This is definitely, the malt base is very kind of straight up. It's a pale malty and wheat malty base there. That blankets the middle of your tongue, and in the centre of the palate, you just get a little bit of that slightly biscuity sweetness out of it. It's just got a little bit of a slightly sweet, biscuity, grainy kind of thing to it, which is very, very nice. I like how everything's going together in this one. The hoppy side of things, of course, is where this beer really kind of kicks off. This beer does have a little bit of a bitter kick to it when you first take it in right enough. In the back corners of the palate, you can pick up, there's a light little tiny bit of earthiness in there. Again, this is making me wonder if they've used Hallertau Blanc in here, because it does have that slightly distinctive German noble earthiness to it. The earthiness that you get out of German hops is almost just a little touch sweet, and you can really feel that with this one. As you come further forward along the sides of the palate, you've got a nice sort of floral aromaticity to this one, and then round the very front curve of the palate, you've got a little bit of a lighter grassy sort of thing, and I like how this goes together. I always like these IPAs actually. The Hallertau Blanc is a hop that I'm getting really into these days. It has a lot of, I think you'll see a lot of breweries, I think that hop will become quite popular over the next while actually, but I really like it, I have to admit, and it goes well if they've added the grapes. I'm pretty sure they've added some grapes to this beer. But yeah, this is pretty nice. So yeah, behind the front curve of the palate, of course, that's where you get that nice oily bubble, where those juicy, fruity esters start to come out of the beer. And for me, this one is really nice. It's got a little touch of, I think there's a little touch of passion fruit in there. Definitely, there's a lot of pineapple to this one, which I think is quite nice. You know, I'm thinking I'm wondering if there is a bit of galaxy in here, because it has a little bit of the passion fruit, it has the pineapple. I want to say El Dorado is another one that can give you a nice kind of pineapple-y note as well. So one of those two hops. I always like playing guess the hops when it comes to these beers and you don't know. But I do wonder if there's a bit of galaxy in here, because the pineapple-y flavours are quite prominent in this one. You do have a little touch of mango or something in there as well, which makes me think, I'm pretty sure there's a bit of citra in this beer. But it's just nice how everything goes together. When you move towards the front of the palate, there's almost, I want to say there's a little touch of a slightly limey note as well, which is kind of nice. You can get a little bit of a limey quality from citra depending on what you mix it with. Of course, the big hop for lime though is Equinaut, but I don't think they've used Equinaut in here. I don't think so. But you get those nice green white grapey notes around the kind of front part of your tongue as well. One of the things you always have to watch when they add fruit to a beer, it always suppresses a little bit of the green side of the hops around the edge of the palate, and you can feel the grapes are kind of doing that a little bit with this beer. It is pretty nice how it goes together. Actually, I just like how all this kind of flavour goes together. It's got a simple malt base. It's got a little bit of a sweet backbone to it as well. The more and more I drink of this beer, the sweeter the malty side of things is getting. It's almost like the kind of syrup that they use in McVitie's digestives to kind of stick the biscuits together. It really has that nice kind of biscuity note to it. It's maybe even a little bit like a kind of caramel wafer or something like that. It does remind me a little bit of that. Yeah, Tunnock's caramel wafer. There's definitely a nice, slightly biscuity, wafery type sweetness to this one. It's almost like a little bit like a kind of caramel or honey sauce or something like that. I do like that sweet backbone that the beer has. I have been missing that with the West Coast IPAs recently. I always enjoyed having a big hoppy bitter kick, but also having a bit of the sweetness of the malt base. And that said, there's actually a few characteristics about this beer that make me think it is more of a kind of West Coast IPA. I mean, it is a hazy, unfiltered IPA, right enough, but there's quite a few of the characteristics, you know, the more straight up malt base, the slightly bigger bitter kick that this beer has, and also a little bit of the sweetness that the malt base has as well. I think this one has quite a few characteristics of the West Coast IPA rather than the New England IPA, so it is quite nice actually to have a beer that's got a little bit more of a bitter kick to it than some of the other ones you might find. But yeah, a nice sort of juicy edge to this beer. I like how everything goes together in this one, but it gets a big thumbs up from me. The nice grapey flavours, you can see that some of the grapes that they've added to the beer are just kind of suppressing a little bit of the green kind of hoppiness that you get out of the beer. But I really like how this one goes together. It really is very, very nice. So yeah, you will enjoy this beer if you get the chance to try it. In terms of the mouthfeel, I would say that this beer is mid-bodied. The carbonation, it does have a little bit of a prickle to it, this one. It does have an element of crispness to it, this beer. But the mouthfeel overall, I'd say, is quite smooth. It's got an element of oiliness to it, but it's quite a crisp IPA for me, this one. Good little bit of hoppy bitterness. I think you're looking around 50 IBUs for this beer. This one has a good little bit more of a hoppy kick than some of the other IPAs that I've had in recent times. I think there's a little bit more of a West Coast character to this one. The malt base is fairly straight up and fairly smooth, but it does have a little bit of a sweet backbone to it. And you've also got some nice kind of juicy fruitiness to the beer as well. But I really like how this one goes together. This is a very, very solid beer, this. And you know, they were asked to do the GBG Beer Week beer, and they've risen to the challenge and then some. This is really, really good. So big thumbs up to the guys at Vega Bryggeri for this one. I need to, if this is the kind of beers that they're producing now, I do need to have a go at some of the other ones and see how they're getting on. But I think this is a very, very solid beer, and I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink it again. One of the things would be, I do hope, and I think in fairness, you know, Stigbergets didn't do that one again, but they made a new version of it. I don't know if Dugas ever did their GBG Beer Week again, but Beer Bibliotech certainly did. I do hope that Vega Bryggeri do continue this beer, because it is really pretty damn good, I have to say. So big thumbs up to the guys at Vega Bryggeri, and I do hope that this isn't the last we see of the goodness Grapecious. This is a really nice IPA, so give it a go while you've got the chance. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this one in the comments section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Vega Bryggeri as well, and we will definitely be returning to these guys in the fairly near future. Until the next time, Slanger just now, and I'll catch you guys later. Skål.